Well, it seems like the ZF rumors are firming up. And if correct, the new information provided by Nikon rumors means that Nikon will be introducing a new feature that has never been on any Nikon camera before. Before we get started, please remember to click the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed, and also click the notification bell to be notified when I put out new videos.
So far, so good. Felt the rain I should.
So based upon the new rumors that we've seen, now it's been said that the new sensor is going to be a 24.4 megapixel sensor. Now, some of us are not too sure about that. I am for one. I'm still hoping it's going to be something higher than that, but let's see. So if it is a new 24.4 BSI sensor, that means it could be something that I saw in the patent filings. I know a lot of you guys didn't watch that video that I put out when I was digging through the patents, but there's something else that I'll tell you later on in the video that I saw that I think is coming to this camera as well. But first, let's dive into what is new from Nikon rumors. So they're saying it's going to be a new all-black body. The weight of it is going to be a little bit heavier than the Z6 II, which is about 700 grams. The Z6 II is about 615 grams. And it's also going to be able to shoot up to 30 frames per second in JPEG, which in my mind probably means about 12 to 15 frames per second raw. But we'll see what comes out once the camera gets released. On the video side of things, 4K 60. Now, they did not specify whether or not this is going to be 10-bit. One would hope that it's going to be 10-bit, considering all the older cameras were 8-bit with the Z9, Z8, now moving on to 10-bit, all the way up to 12-bit in the RAW section. I don't expect this camera to have RAW, but from reading the specs, this seemed like it's going to be a more substantial camera than we think it was going to be. While it's a retro style camera, I've been saying that I think it's going to be a bit thicker because I was hoping they'll put like the Z7 sensor in there and maybe throw in 8K 10-bit 420, but who knows. They're saying it's 4K 60 at this point. Still not bad. That's pretty decent for, I guess you can call it a street camera, but not exactly, because on the weight side of it, that's close to what my A7R5 was. And I figured they would do that to make sure that you can do 10-bit video internally for a long period of time without it overheating. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Next thing, USB-C power delivery. So fast charging is going to be coming to this camera as well. And I think going forward, Nikon will probably include that on all their cameras in the future. The ISO rating on this camera is going to be 100 to 6400. And for comparison, I said the Z6 II's range was 100 to 51-200. So that means it's going to have a little bit better low light capabilities. But again, it all depends on what you're shooting. Most of us probably never going to go that high anyway, but it's there if you ever need to do it. We know the A7S III 12800 is, a really good level for almost darkness of recording video. So hopefully this camera can get something along those lines without any lights for low level video shooting and photography, but we'll see how that turns out. The battery should be the EN-EL15. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. I've said I want the EN-EL15. That means if they do it right, we should have a decent sized grip. I'm thinking the body is going to be thicker. That's because you have to have something to be able to incorporate that battery. And of course, we know in all the other Nikon cameras, it's pretty much inside the grip. So if you have a decent sized grip or a thicker sized body to be able to utilize that battery, yeah, you can take a lot of photos and shoot videos. It's done pretty well for me in the Z8, Z6. There's a limitation as far as how long you can go, 30 minutes. But, it's nice to have it if you need it. And if you already have Z5, Z6, Z7, they all use this battery. And now the Z8 uses the same battery as well. So if the ZF uses it, you don't have to get a new battery. You're ready to go. There's one thing that has me concerned though. Micro SD. This is going to be SD and micro SD. In this day and age for cameras, I'm not certain why they would put micro SD. So if it's a dual slot and one's going to be micro SD, I guess that could be something for photo. I've been looking up micro SD when I saw this because I want to give you guys good information as far as what it can handle. Apparently some of the newer version up there can handle up to 8K video. Who knew? I've always seen them as something you use inside your action camera, inside your drone, but not for these types of cameras, especially if you're looking for something with speed. But 30 frames per second in JPEG mode, that will be fine for the SD card. So I guess if you want to have extra storage for video, I don't know what it would use it for. But we'll have to wait and see when the information comes out for sure what we're going to get. Now this is the mode, pixel shift. All right, so let's dive into that one new technology that is new to Nikon that I mentioned in my video when I first started to dig into the patents about what could be possibly coming for the Z8 or Z6 III or whatever was coming at the time. Pixel shift. I saw some information in the patents about the pixel shift technology, and I thought for sure, based upon the fact that I just had the A7R5, it came out with a new pixel shift technology on theirs to be able to stack photos and get pretty good shots out of it. One thing they talked about, like if you took a picture and there's a vehicle inside there, somehow it can figure out, I guess in the software, how to basically get a good shot of that moving vehicle. It's static, and dump the rest of the photos so that picture's not in there. So you still get the background, the road, whatever it is that's not moving will be sharp, and the car that's sitting there is just going to, it's going to be that, one photo that they're going to use because it's moving. Who knows what's Nikon going to do with this pixel shift technology? Maybe they'll do something just as good. In my mind, I think this new camera is going to showcase some of the future technology that's going to come to Nikon. And while I'm at it, maybe the Z6 III will only come with a 24 megapixel sensor. Maybe some people won't be happy about that, but who knows? Maybe they could just utilize that in the Z5, and the Z6 and Z7 will come up with new sensors. But that's something to think about. Are you happy with using 24 megapixels inside the ZF? I think for most people's use, it'll be fine. Most of us don't really need to shoot at 45 or 60 megapixels. Those who do, you can do that. For those who don't want to have that kind of camera, but want to have the pixel shift capability to give you up to say 100 megapixel file or 120, however big it can get, you can do this with this technology. So that's something to look forward to. And also the sensor. BSI, that was something also that I had found in a filing, that there's a BSI sensor that worked on and they got patented on it. Of course, in the filing, they don't say how many megapixels it's going to be, but I'll say here in this video, there are other sensors that are listed as BSI, and I'm pretty sure, if I recall, there's another one that's stacked, but I have to go check that one for sure, but I know there's a couple more sensors that are BSI that are listed. And again, whatever these sensors are, they never mention if it's a full frame, or if it's a crop sensor. They just said sensor, imaging, whatever. So maybe I got it right in this one. Didn't come in the Z8, but in the future Nikon camera, yeah, okay. So the time frame is still slated for September, or well, August or September. Some information has been saying that it's going to be next week on the 17th. There is no definitive information just yet until Nikon posts something in the site, coming soon or something along those lines. We're just going to be guessing, but as far as some leaked information, some people say it's on the 17th. So we'll see, because I've heard multiple things. It's going to be a stack sensor. It's going to be a 45 megapixel sensor. It's been all over the place, so we really don't know what we're getting. But if you're interested in the camera when it's coming out, remember to check the links that I have below so you can use those and order through Amazon. Anyway, what are the other new things? I think that's pretty much it. We've already heard that it's going to have packages. You can buy body only, body and a lens, kit lens, or I think a 40 millimeter lens is going to be in there as well. On the top section, it's supposed to have a small LCD to show you aperture setting. And I figure it won't be something the size of what we have on the Z8. Maybe be something similar to what's on the DF, or maybe just be as small as the one that's on the ZFC. We'll find out when the camera comes out. And the black and white mode, I did a video about that. I'm hoping if the sensor is a new sensor and it's really good, hopefully dynamic range and it's going to be even better. So when you want to shoot black and white, you can get some really great quality images out of it. I mean, if it's, high dynamic range, it's gonna, well, with a better dynamic range overall, no matter if it's black and white or if it's going to be color, it will still look good. So that's something to keep in mind. It could be a camera that a lot of us are going to love. It might end up being a camera that surprised all of us and be as good as some of the big boys out there. I'm not going to say Leica or whatever, because Leica is a whole other level kind of stuff. But, you know, if you can put some really good technology in the 24 megapixel sensor, you really don't need a whole lot more than really good dynamic range to be able to get some good shots. You don't have to go to 60 megapixels sensor for all that stuff. So I'm curious to hear what everyone is thinking. Now that we have this new information, are you still thinking it's going to be a 45 megapixel sensor? Are you happy about the pixel shift that's coming? If it is a 24.4 sensor, BSI, is this something that you're looking for? Would this be sufficient for you, or would you like more? I know some people are saying for the Z6 III, they want to have like a 30 something megapixel sensor, something along those lines. But for retro camera, that's going to be something that you're going to take around the street. Still have some good video capabilities, but for, you know, something larger than a Z to take around just to, you know, lug around when you want to shoot with some stuff. It's full frame, not crop sensor. Yeah, I think it'll be a great camera. Let me know your thoughts. All right, I'm going to close out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I fell in love with my own sound. Now it's so far.
So good, felt the